Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodhanandana Rajajanandana Yashodhanandana Yamunatira Manachari Yamunatira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Shri Prabhupada Jai Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtadharashat Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the Son of the devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Thirayet Nashtapraeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Paramananda Pathaya Prema Vashaksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume Madheka Bandhu Mat Sangi Madguru Mahadhana Manistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute. Let's see, how to do this. I'm so computer illiterate, it's not funny. Maybe it's kind of funny, but it's not really that funny. Alright, so we're continuing chapter 25 of the 4th canto, which is the story of King Puranjana, which is an allegory told by Narada Muni to King Prachinabarhisha in order to get him to give up his normal life, which is as a king who's following Karma Kanda, following Dharma, and to take up more of a spiritual path. Srila Jiva Goswami, he says that this story is told in this way rather than a more direct way because King Prachinabarhisha was not qualified to learn full-on bhakti. So we can understand that this is the prerogative of a teacher. When Narada Muni thought, okay, King Prachinabarhisha isn't qualified, he was speaking more towards King Prachinabarhisha's particular nature and his particular ability to grasp whatever he needed to teach him. And so he engaged his student and he thought, okay, he needs bhakti mixed with jnana. So I'm going to tell him all about because ultimately I want him to take up bhakti, but I'm going to tell him all about the intricacies of Gyan and the intricacies of Sankhya, which is, the process of Sankhya is very much about extricating oneself from material existence, or the process of Gyan Yoga is about extricating oneself from material existence through an analytical investigation of existence, so that one eventually comes to the realization that I am not this body, in the sense that I completely understand what this body is composed of, how it works, how everything folds together, and that actually none of those things are me, and I am the thing that's behind that and driving it as the Atma. So this is the process of Sankhya, and this is a large chunk of the knowledge that Narada Muni is expressing through this very, very elaborate allegory. It's a very elaborate story, which is it's basically an allegory which overlays the jiva and his way of being inserted into material existence and the kind of functions that he undergoes in material existence. And the story is given through the story of a king who meets a lady who we don't hear her name, but who is known to be, because the king is the jiva, and she's known to be the intellect or the intelligence of the jiva. And then she has a retinue of people around her who are the various senses of the jiva, and they enjoy in a city, which is the body. And that body or that city has many amenities, which are the different faculties and the different things that one can do. And then outside of the city, there are many pleasing gardens and forests and bowers and places to go and enjoy. And so all of the sense objects and all of the exploits that one gets into through the intellect and with the body, which is the city, are related to all of the things that are out in the forest outside of the city. And we'll hear later that the breezes are a particular thing, and the breezes carry scent, and they're also the sense of touch, and all of the beautiful flowers that are in the bowers are the objects of sight, and the water, the cooling streams, are the sense of taste. So this whole elaborate allegory is meant to help King Prachinabarhisha to become extricated, to become a little bit passive, and to become a little bit withdrawn from the experience that he's so intricately interwoven into. And this is useful for us because, again, it's being taught with the intention of ultimately bringing him to bhakti. And these things are also very useful and important for us to understand because we also need to become a little bit sober in our material experience. We don't take full shelter of Gyan as the means of liberation, Because ultimately, our acharyas have explained that there must be some bhakti even for jnana to work. And so Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has said that if you need bhakti to get the fruits of jnana or karma, and those fruits are dependent on there being some bhakti in your practice of jnana or karma, then why not just do bhakti? So we know, it's very clear for us as bhaktas, that we take shelter of bhakti. Our attachment to Krishna, as we fan that tiny spark and we try to blaze it into a fire, that is the thing that is the ultimate affecting agent of whatever it is that we try to do in Krishna consciousness. So anyway, big tangent, but it helps to kind of couch the thing, because I'll be honest, with these particular 4 verses and this kind of particular bit that I wanted to go into, it's a bit bigger than I expected. And my normal style is to just wake up and then do a bit of studying for the class. And I was a bit overwhelmed in my studies, so I apologize if things come out a bit discombobulated. But anyway, we'll try and we'll see. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Srimad-Bhagavatam. So it's always nice to hear. So today we're covering 39 through 42. They've already met, and this is basically the point where King Puranjana and this lady have decided, okay, let's enjoy. Let's go ahead and do this. So the fusion has been made. So I'll just read the translations, and let's read the verses too. Dharno hitrata kamaucha rajanando mitam yasha lokabhishoka vireja yanna kevalino viduhu. The woman continued, in this material world, a householder's life brings all kinds of happiness in religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the begetting of children, sons, and grandsons. After that, one may desire liberation as well as material reputation. The householder can appreciate the results of sacrifices, which enable him to gain promotion to the superior planetary systems. All this material happiness is practically unknown to the transcendentalists. They cannot even imagine such happiness. So this is the intelligence personified as this woman speaking to King Puranjana. Pitrideva Shimatyanam Bhutanam Atmanascha Kshemyam Vadanti Sharanam Bhavisminya Grihashrama. The woman continued, according to authorities, the householder life is pleasing not only to oneself, but to all the forefathers, demigods, great sages, saintly persons, and everyone else. A householder life is thus beneficial. Katnamavira vikyatam vadanyam priya darshanam navrinita priyam praptam matrishi twadrisham pratim. My dear hero, who in this world will not accept a husband like you? You are so famous, so magnanimous, so beautiful, and so easily gotten. Kasya manaste bhuvi bhogi bhogayo striyana sanjit bhujayo mahabhuja yonata vargadhimalam krinotaka smita valokena charatyakohitim. O mighty arms, who in this world will not be attracted by your arms, which are just like the bodies of serpents? Actually, you relieve the distress of husbandless women like us by your attractive smile and your aggressive mercy. We think that you are traveling on the surface of the earth just to benefit us only. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurimilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaranatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Shcha Mukam Karoti Vacharam Kam Gumam Vaite Girim Yat Kripam Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So just to go a little bit more into this allegory and into kind of the nitty-gritty details of what's going on here, I just kind of found it interesting when I started researching this, because in Paramatma Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami very, very elaborately breaks down all of the characteristics of the jiva and how the jiva, or the individual self, becomes implicated in material nature, which is basically what's being described here. So, to start, for the basis, the jiva identifies with material existence, particularly the body, through the false ego, which is an interesting thing to understand, because these are things that we spout off all the time. Oh, it's your ego, Prabhu. It's your, everything is done from the platform of false ego. But the actual understanding of what that means is a bit more intricate than our general surface level understanding. So, Jiva Goswami, he quotes a verse from Padma Purana which gives 24 characteristics of the jiva. I'm not going to go into all 24 of them, but one of them is aham arta, that the jiva is an individuated self with a concept of I-ness, which is inherent to it. So basically, he's saying that there are two ahamkaras. One is the inherent one, which all jivas have, as a spiritual thing, which is a quality that is intrinsic to oneself. And this is a cornerstone of Vaishnava philosophy, because we're individuals eternally. And to be an individual and to also be conscious means that you understand that you are an individual. This is in stark contrast to other spiritual traditions, particularly monistic traditions or Buddhistic traditions,